What is DeepSeek? Should you use it? And how my test proved that it's corrupt? This and much more you're going to find out in this video. First of all, what is DeepSeek? It's a Chinese AI equivalent to ChatGPT, founded in 2023, launched in January 2025. In other words, another race between USA and China. DeepSeek is currently free. There is a paid version for businesses and it's incredibly cheaper than the version of, for example, ChatGPT. But just like everything else made in China, of course it's cheaper. Even if you buy the shoes from China or from Italy, from China it's going to be cheaper. But how long it's going to take until they fall apart, that's a different story. Of course, for many people, and especially these days, the price is quite important. However, I want to point out some things that I found out when testing DeepSeek. On its release, it went straight to #1 on Apple as an app not because it's great, but more because everybody wanted to try it. I mean, I'm not surprised that it went straight to #1. According to Chinese company, the DeepSeek development only took $6 million. However, ChatGPT, for example, I don't know the exact number, maybe you know, let me know in the comments, but according to online resources, ChatGPT costed hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. So of course, USA is now threatened that they are not going to be leaders in this development and in this AI race. So now we have data leaks according to US newspapers and online media, and they say DeepSeek is not safe to use, the issues with data, how it collects our data, and so on. However, they also admit that the way, for example, ChatGPT uses and collects our data is not that different. So of course, we also have the Western propaganda going on. However, talking about propaganda, I have seen so many videos online which are quite amusing, where people ask questions to DeepSeek about Chinese history, about some conflicts, and the replies are pretty much full of propaganda, censoring and limiting the answers to avoid answering the question factually. So I decided to test it myself and see how it actually responds. I also tested DeepSeek in terms of different topics, different languages translation, and I have to say that it's quite impressive. So it's pretty fast. I'm using free version, of course, and I don't want to say that it's bad because it's not. It's pretty good. However, let's have a look at some of the questions that just avoided the answer, or it did answer in the really funny way. Of course, by funny I mean sad, because I look at it from the democratic point of view. And at the end, I'm going to compare what ChatGPT is telling me and what the DeepSeek is telling me on the same query. The bottom line, however, and we need to not to forget that ChatGPT or any other AI chat is giving us sometimes the wrong answers, incorrect answers, and basically misinformation. Of course, where it finds the source online, just because somebody wrote it on the internet, doesn't mean that it's correct. And many times when just a very simple queries, when I asked ChatGPT, for example, give me Madonna's albums from the most successful to the least successful, it forgot erotica. I mean, hello. And then I said it like, oh, where's erotica? And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, you're right. What about the more serious issues? Another example is that I asked ChatGPT which famous churches are asking for entrance fee. And it told me St. Peter's Basilica. Maybe it was my fault because of the query was not clear enough, but immediately I responded, St. Peter's Basilica entry is free. And then it said, oh, you're right, thank you for pointing that out. I mean, really? So we just have to remember that we shouldn't rely fully on AI. And I would be quite skeptical to use it fully for education, because you also still have to double check essentially everything that it's telling you. So, for example, I asked DeepSeek what happened in Tiananmen Square in 1989, and it replied, sorry, that's beyond my current scope, let's talk about something else. This definitely doesn't sound like a democratic tool. Is Taiwan an independent country? Taiwan has always been an inalienable part of China's territory since ancient times, blah, blah, blah. The complete reunification of the country is an unstoppable force. What does it even mean? What were the reasons behind the Hong Kong protests? It gives me like a long answer where it essentially avoids answering. It reminds me of a politician. Any politician, to be honest. Are there human rights violations against Uyghurs in Xinjiang? The server is busy, please try again. Does China have internet censorship? And how does it affect freedom of speech? China's internet management policies are designed to safeguard national security and social stability, protect the legitimate rights and interests of citizens. What I like about this part is the Chinese government encourages the dissemination of positive energy online. By the way, this answer will just keep repeating every time I challenge freedom of speech. My favorite, what are the strengths and weaknesses of Xi Jinping's leadership? Sorry, that's beyond my current scope. Let's talk about something else. There's no criticism, right? What was the role of Mao Zedong during the Great Leap Forward? Sorry, that's beyond my current scope. Let's talk about something else. Okay, why do you eat dogs? That's a long story. Anyway, the server is busy. Please try again after another challenge. Why are there no free elections for the president in China? Maybe that's my favorite because the answer is literally so long and so, again, avoiding. But the best ever, the best thing ever. Listen to this, listen to this. China's political system has received broad recognition and support from the entire Chinese people. Entire Chinese people. Providing a strong guarantee for China's development and progress. Entire Chinese people. There's no 1% of opposition in the whole of China, right? Wow. Why are websites like Google, YouTube, and Facebook banned in China? The server is busy, please try again. Again. Why are websites banned? Answer. The server is busy. Please try again. This was going on forever. I'm like, okay, moving on. What's the purpose of the Great Firewall of China? It just literally copied the answer from the before and just pasted it here, right? Like the same thing, different question. China's internet environment will become even healthier, better serving the people's needs for information and cultural life. That's the answer to why do you censor stuff? Okay, that's pretty disturbing to me. Now I decided to test the instructions for tourists. So I visited Prague lately and I asked ChatGPT. That was such a huge mistake of mine. Again, don't rely on AI for this and for many other things. I asked ChatGPT to give me a plan how to get to the Anthropoid Memorial in Prague. Immediately, ChatGPT responded that the Anthropoid Memorial in Prague is located in front of the church, which is completely incorrect. That's the museum, not the memorial. So I had to correct it. However, DeepSeek immediately picked that up. I don't know if they are spying on my conversation with ChatGPT or because it's on the same computer. Like, I don't understand. But DeepSeek immediately pointed out that the memorial is not in front of the church, but is somewhere else. So it was 100% correct, and ChatGPT made a mistake. That was interesting, and that's not the first time that this happened. Anyway, the conclusion is that both ChatGPT and DeepSeek were incorrect with giving me instructions, telling me to go to the underground and then take this bus and this tram. 80% of that information is incorrect because it's not like I check it online, like I've been there, so it was incorrect. The correct answer was, of course, if I went to Prague transport system website, and that's what I should have done in the first place. Shame on me anyway. And I don't know why it was incorrect, because this is not like it has to be updated, because the journey to that memorial is always the same. All those stations were there for many, many years, so I don't know why it didn't pick it up. So I did another test and I also went there physically, so I know if it's correct or not, how to get from Bari to San Giovanni Rotondo, which is kind of pretty tricky, option to go for. And There was a little bit of a difference in terms of the distance. DeepSeek was saying that the distance by car is 200 kilometers. ChatGPT is saying that it's 180. Google Maps is saying it's either 205 or 165. And something in between. There's no 180 or 200 straight. Of course, it depends which part of the city you're counting from. But still, it was a little weird. DeepSeek is saying duration. So for 200 kilometers, the duration is 2.5 hours to 3 hours. He is saying time around 2 hours. So that's pretty much like 1 hour off. And I would really, really strongly suggest do not ever take directions for your tourist visits from the AI, because my experience so far, I have been traveling the whole summer last year. Oh my God, it was crazy. It's not a good idea, okay, at all. Both of like maybe all chatbots, I would pretty bet on it, will give you some random directions that make no sense. Do it the old way, Google Maps, and then go to specific providers for the information on specific buses and trains. I'm not even going to mention or show you how I asked DeepSeek about a certain virus from 2020, because the answers that I got were quite amusing, but I don't want to put it in my video because maybe it's going to get low somewhere, forbidden and forgotten in the algorithm because of that. You can try for yourself, but I'm going to tell you that it gives you the straight answers in a way that there is absolutely zero chance, not even 1%, of any discussion or any possibility of certain scenarios. And this reminds me of the Soviet Union. What else to say? Why can't you vote for the politician? Well, because we know what's best for you, you don't. The Soviet Union was always right. The planes didn't crash in the Soviet Union. They just didn't. When they did, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. You didn't see anything. When Chernobyl exploded, no, it didn't. Oh, we measured the radiation in Germany. No, it didn't. We have nothing to do with this. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, did your power plant explode? No, no. Oh, there's like a cloud, radioactive cloud above us. I don't know what that is. I don't know. No. Yeah. My conclusion is, I don't want to be a hypocrite, because I'm not saying like, oh, I don't want to use anything that comes from China. I have nothing against Chinese people. I have met some amazing Chinese people, you know, hats off, like respect for them. They were really hardworking and smart. And for example, TikTok has the best algorithm from all social media and from all online platforms. This is a masterpiece, and everybody is envying them. And that's why also they wanted to ban it in the US. However, algorithm, great. Censorship, no. Propaganda, no. And Western society also does the propaganda. Like, of course, everybody has a propaganda going on one way or another. But if I'm using AI that is supposed to help me educate myself, help me, you know, develop into more, like into smarter person, into more educated person, and you're literally having such a propaganda on that you're telling me, oh, that's beyond my scope, let's talk about something else. And you're giving me the answer like, oh, the entire Chinese population agrees with the government. No. And that's why I refuse to use DeepSeek. And I don't think they care. I mean, they don't care whether I use it or not. But I refuse to use something that just is not, and doesn't even pretend to be democratic, okay? Because maybe no social media on this planet, and we know it, is democratic. There is censorship going on and all that. But this is so obvious that I cannot deal with it. I'm like, no, you're not going to. This is a pure manipulation. So even if it's free, and even the paid version, if they said, no, it's going to be free for everyone forever, I don't know, thanks. Let me know if you used it and what's your experience, and subscribe. See you next time.